Wondering how Chat GPT can make it where you basically don't lose when you go into a listing appointment? Today, we're going to share with you the process that is working like magic right now that'll help you get just about every listing you go on.
Welcome to Real Estate AI Flash, the podcast dedicated to real estate professionals to demystify AI and give you practical strategies that you can apply to your business today. I'm your co-host, Rajeev Sajja.
And the other co-host, Jimmy Burgess, and we are excited for you to be a part of this. If you haven't had a chance yet, make sure you go out and that you subscribe to the podcast. Also, we would really appreciate if you could leave us a review. It helps us spread the message that as a real estate community, we are stronger together. Now let's get to this episode.
Welcome to another episode of Real Estate AI Flash, where we're focused on empowering real estate agents to leverage AI to grow their business. And you're going to love this one because this is about listing presentations powered by AI, how you can separate yourself from all other agents walking into a listing presentation.
So, hey, Rajeev, this is one of those where if people stick around and don't just listen to this, but actually apply it, as we say in the South, it'd be like Chick-fil-A on Sunday. Closed. You're going to get the listing. So this is one of those I'm excited to share with people because we're seeing results right now utilizing this very strategy. And it's really another way that we can leverage this artificial intelligence in a pretty amazing way.
I don't know about you, Jimmy, but Chick-fil-A on being closed on Sundays actually helped my budget because my kids don't go there anymore on Sundays. But
it's way better. It's way better. I have to tell you, this is literally, I was thinking about that as I said that. I guess I literally had Chick-fil-A this morning for breakfast. That is so bad, but so good. So let's get into this now. We're going to go through this and really talk about exactly what you guys can do to make sure that you walk in with such confidence in your listing appointment. Now, Rajeev, if it's okay, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of start with the prompt here. If you haven't seen episode 2, go back and watch that where we talk about the 4 Ps, and we also talk about making sure that you're using the REAIF. We love our anagrams here, our acronyms in real estate. We're going to go through and really utilize this. And so, Rajeev, I'm going to give mine. I like the fact that because we don't always talk about all these things, sometimes yours is a little ahead of mine is a little ahead of yours, is what we're doing, and we're refining each other. So I'm going to give you exactly what we're utilizing right now, and I bet you probably have some improvements or some things that maybe we ought to think about as well. So here is the prompt. And listen, if you're listening to this, we should have this down in the show notes, or you can always pause and come back and write this down. Here is the prompt. Acting as a top producing real estate agent, provide me with an MLS description in a conversational tone for the home located at 123 Main Street, highlighting the following attributes. Now, we're doing this prior to the listing appointment, okay? Now, there's a couple things here. I mentioned highlighting with the following attributes. If you have an existing MLS description that you've utilized before, or you ask it to rewrite an existing one, it's going to give you something new and fresh. But that's basically this. That's the main first prompt. Before I go to the next, anything, Rajeev, because I know there's some things we probably should do. Anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, that's a really good start, Jimmy, what you just described. One of the things that we've seen success with is exactly that role that you described. Your role as a highly experienced real estate agent with a lot of property marketing expertise. And here's something that we've added. Your expertise includes the understanding of the Fair Housing Act. Write a description because remember, Chat GPT is not a real estate agent, you are. The description you write should fit the following criteria. Focus on the feature of the home, descriptive and persuasive language. Here's a good one. Do not talk about specific types of buyers or buyer circumstances. Do not reference age, race, color, religion, familial status, disability, etc. And we also give it a little bit of focus. Description should be 2,500 characters or less based on MLSs that you belong to, the description. And then we go through what you just described, listing details, address, beds, baths, highlights, type of property, etc.
Rajeev, do you have one of those sitting right in front of you? You can just read it straight through the way that y'all prompt? If you don't mind.
You're a highly experienced real estate agent with a lot of property marketing expertise. Your expertise includes understanding of the Fair Housing Act. Write a property description for a home at 121 Main Street. Just give it the address. The description you write should meet the following criteria. Focus on the features of the home. Use descriptive and persuasive language to describe the features. Do not talk about specific types of buyers or buyer circumstances. Do not reference age, race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status. The description should be 2,500 characters or less. Listing details are: give it the address, beds, baths, size, style of property, amenities, and highlights and location highlights.
That's so good. And it's so much next level. Now, this is what's great about this is that as you're doing that, it eliminates like the process that we've been using. And now the process that I'll be using going forward will be so much more streamlined just by adding what you just did, because we were utilizing the third P, which is polish, before we went on there. We still need to do that, but we're giving the instructions up front to make sure that as we prime it, it's all automatically going to do some of that, what I've been having to do on the back end now of that polishing. So this is so great. So once we get to this, now it's going to give us that description. Okay. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to now be preparing you for the listing presentation. Once you have that first one that it is just done, print that one, put it into a file folder. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to say, now convert this, and you can choose the tone. I'm going to give you a few tones that we've utilized. Now convert this to writing this in more of a luxury tone. Gives you different that. Once that comes up with that luxury, print that and put it in your folder. Next one, write this in a more professional tone, or in our case, sometimes along the coast, write this in more of a coastal tone. Whatever it is for you, I would suggest having it write 3 of these MLS descriptions for you. And I'm going to tell you why here in just a minute, but print all 3 of those, put them in your file folder. Right below that, then we're going to say, now convert this to an SEO optimized Facebook post that highlights this as a new listing hitting the market. Now, this is going to give it the ability. It's going to come in. It's going to do the emojis. It's going to do the hashtags. It's going to give you exactly what you're looking for on a Facebook post. Print that, put that in your folder along with those 3 MLS descriptions. Now we're going to say, now convert this to SEO optimized Instagram post or reel, whichever you prefer, that will highlight this as a new property coming on the market. Again, take that, print that, put that in there. Now we've got a Facebook post. We've got an Instagram post. Now we're going to ask it to come in. Now convert this to a 1,000 word LinkedIn, SEO optimized LinkedIn article announcing this as a new listing. Boom, we're going to print that. We're going to put that in there. Now convert this to an SEO optimized YouTube video script. It's going to then do that. We're going to put that in there. Now, at the end of this, this is what we're doing. And I'll be anxious to hear what you guys are doing on this too. What I've been doing is I've been saying, now provide me with 25 unique ways to market this property as we launch it as a new listing. Now, what it's going to do is a lot of times it's going to come back with things that maybe we aren't going to do. We want to refine this. And in most cases, a lot of this is stuff you already know, but maybe you haven't thought about. I always say most people don't need to be taught. They need to be reminded. We're going to get those reminders. Take that. If there's 15, 20 of those things that you're going to do, put those on a list and then put that in the actual folder we were talking about. And before I talk about what to do with that folder, Rajeev, anything you would add to that or anything you guys are doing a little different?
I'll tell you what, Jim, whatever you shared there, if agents just apply that, you're so much ahead of most people that are walking in with just the comps. Because one of the conversations sellers always ask, how are you going to market my home? And that's where you're addressing that piece of it. The other things, most people, some sellers like to see information in like conversational tone. Some people would like to see it in an organized table form, right? So you could literally continue your conversation and say, give me a 30-day property marketing plan in table form that includes open houses, because you're probably going to do an open house if that's part of your business, using social media in Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever channels you want to focus on, TikTok, email marketing, and print, and organize it in a table form. It's going to print, it's going to bring it out. And like Jimmy was saying, print that out, because your sellers are going to say, what are you going to do, market your home? Pull it out of that folder that Jimmy's talking about and show them that table, and they'll see you're going to email market, you're going to social market, you're going to print market, and you got all bases covered. When you got all bases covered, it's Chick-fil-A on Sunday.
That's right. So let me explain kind of how we are presenting these now once we have this folder. And a lot of times what we're seeing now, this is the old school sitting down at the kitchen table, or we're even doing these virtually where we're actually sharing our screen and going through these things with out of town owners right now. But basically, here's how that conversation goes. I didn't want to be too presumptuous, but if I was you, I would want to know what it would look like and what my marketing would look like for your home to make sure that we can maximize your sales price and get it sold as quick as possible. So what I've done is I utilize some artificial intelligence to make this easy, but I've gone ahead and I've written 3 different MLS descriptions because after the pictures, one of the things that gets people in the door as we continue to see inventory go up is that they're going to look at the description and see if this house might fit for their needs. So here are 3 different. I've written one in a professional tone. I've written one in a conversational tone and one in a luxury tone. I would love for you to look at these and tell me if there's one that you prefer the type of tone with, or if there's something that maybe I've missed in the description that you think we ought to highlight when we begin marketing this house. Typically, they're going to do this. They're going to look at it. They're going to say, well, we like this one, and say, great. The reason I'm asking you that is you're the ideal buyer for this house. You were someone that fell in love with this house and bought this home previously. So we want to make sure that if something catches your eyes, odds are it's going to catch the ideal buyer going forward as well. So I'm going to set this aside that we like this one. Now, let me just say this. One of the biggest things is to get as many people to see information about your property as possible. Again, we utilize artificial intelligence to help us identify the language we need to make sure that we identify and we get in front of that ideal client. So again, if I was you, I'd want to see some of these things. I want to show you, this is a Facebook post with the emojis, with all of the hashtags that we would utilize to attract that ideal client. And we would utilize some of our professional photography that we'll be having done on this. I want you to look at this and see if there's anything that you think we didn't mention. And if so, then I'll slide this to the side and you can kind of see that will be something we'll utilize in the launch of your property so that we make sure we get as many people through the door as quickly as possible. Does this make sense? Yes. Here's the Instagram post that we've done also. Here's the LinkedIn article that we would be posting about your place, announcing it as a new listing. Also, we're going to utilize YouTube and video content. So here is the YouTube script, and I can actually ask this or convert this to a smaller script if you'd like, where I can utilize it on TikTok. I can utilize it on Instagram for a reel, and I can also utilize it on YouTube as a YouTube short. So this is kind of a little bit of the information, but again, it doesn't matter. This is just a portion of what we do. I want to show you also 20 unique ways that we're going to do this. And by the way, I'd love to show you a table breakdown that I've already laid out for the first 30 days marketing on this home. Does all of this make sense to you? Listen, if you do that, it is literally press hard 5 copies because we are going to be there. No one else is doing this. You have set yourself apart from the majority of the agents that are out there. And I'll just say this. In the market where we are today, a lot of things have happened, Rajeev, as we went through a market where everything had multiple offers. It was selling so fast. Even the best marketers lost a little bit of their edge, so to speak, because they didn't have to. Well, now we're coming back to a place where professionalism, the ability to communicate your marketing and to be able to stand out as the agent that adds a little more than everybody else is going to be more and more important every single day that goes by. This is one of those things that if you'll just apply this, I promise you're going to see better results. Anything you want to add to that, Rajeev?
I think you just nailed it, because I think, a long time ago, Jimmy, I heard a statement called list to last, right?
That's
People
it.
that have the listings last a long time. And if you get this competitive advantage, and it's early, and I think whatever Jimmy laid out here, if you can nail this in your listing presentation, I think your sellers will absolutely sign with you, and because you're doing something that very few people are doing. So hope this helps, and great stuff, Jimmy. I think this is going to be really valuable for our listeners.
Yeah, and I would say this, Rajeev, if you're at a place, whenever you listen to this, if you've got a listing, because we haven't seen this in a while, if you've got a listing that maybe sat on the market for a little while, and they're asking, and you're having your seller say, well, what do we need to do differently? Or you need to go in and ask for that difficult price change. This is a great way to segue into this, where you would say, listen, the market, without saying anything to us, is telling us we're not going to be able to get the price we're at. So we're going to probably need to make a price adjustment. But listen, making a price adjustment is just part of the process. We need to relaunch this. And so here is a plan of action where we would refresh our MLS description. We would refresh and announce this as a price improvement, and we would relaunch all of the marketing efforts. Here it is for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, the whole shooting match of exactly what we'll do to relaunch this. And when you go in with a plan of action, you're not just saying, hey, listen, I can't make my job work. Lower your price so maybe I can get paid. You're going in and saying, hey, listen, we both need to give a little more here. I'm going to step up my marketing game and do some things differently than we've ever done before. And then when they can see the vision, they will make sure that they give you the provision to do what it is that you need to do to get their home sold. So just another way that they can utilize this as well.
You brought up something that I just want to quickly add, like price reductions you mentioned, right? You and I believe that listings are an asset. And if you do them right and market them right for new listings, open houses, price reductions, and solds, they should lead to more listing opportunities. So using AI, you should win more listings with your listing. And I think it's a great plan we've laid out here. And I think it'll help a lot of agents.
Yeah, listen, if you got some value out of this, do us a favor and go leave us a review. It's going to help us make sure that we can expand the number of agents that we're helping. And as we always say, Rajeev and I always say, and as Home Services says, we are stronger together. I hope this has been helpful, guys, and we will see you on the next episode.
Take care.
This podcast has been produced by TSC Studios. Music is courtesy of Soundstripe. Audio and video editing is provided by Noah Escobar. Graphic design by Melinda McKnight. And special thanks to Jordan Wilson of Your Everyday AI for the inspiration and expertise.